Light work. Liverpool FC, 9 points clear. Another 2-0. Another clean sheet, man. Another decent performance. As I was talking to Quasi, big up to Quasi in the building. Big up to Mike as well in the building. Chat, big up to you as well. As I was saying to him, I literally sat and watched the game again, which is crazy. But I actually watched it back because now I'm not, I'm not into the game. I'm not, the emotions isn't going, the blood pressure isn't going up, down, left, right. I was just calm sitting there watching it. And I'm going to give you my opinion on the game. Quasi's going to give his and Mike's going to give his. But man, then before we get started, I hope you guys are blessed for one. Quasi, Mike, appreciate you guys jumping in. What are you guys saying before we get started, bro?
First of all, thank you.
Come on, City.
Big up to Mandem in the building. Thank you for joining us. People in the chat, please hit the like button. Thanks for Mike being here and Ernst. I appreciate you giving the invite. This game was weird for me, man. It's like it looked like they had nothing on us, but we made it hard on ourselves a lot of times. Like the first 2 minutes and Trent loses the ball right in front of the box.
Trent wanted to make sure we were awake.
Criticize him, though, Quasi.
I'm not. I'm just saying it's like we the fans don't need this. That's what I'm saying. We don't need this. We just need us to chill, support you guys, and you guys put in the hard work. That's all. But Liverpool makes everything hard, and I guess that's what being a Liverpool fan is. You have to be out on the edge of your seat. It's not for everybody. Most fans can't handle this.
No, 100%. Go on, Mark. What was you going to say before we go?
Listen, is this teams have had better chances against us this season, right? And we obviously we got the penalty, which at the time I was like, that is the softest thing ever. But then when you go back and you watch it, he actually did hit his calf. And if you go by the letter of the law, any contact is contact. So it grazed him, but it's a pen. And then, of course, Salah gets the winner. But, we can sit here and we could talk about Bournemouth's chances, which I do think were dangerous. And, of course, the ones that hit the post as and set off stream, those don't count as shots. So those don't count towards expected goals. But we all know that those were a millimeter away from being a goal. We also had a lot of chances ourselves. Szoboszlai got into the box. He had a couple good shots on goal. We were creating opportunities. And ultimately, listen, we're at the stage in the season. It's February 1st. Performances, I don't care anymore, right? There are no pictures on the scorecard. We are 9 points clear. It is now just becoming a matter of results. Get the results, get the wins. We can sit here and we can criticize individual players, but when it comes to performances, unless it's a loss or unless we're dropping points, there's no pictures on the scorecards, and that's just going to be the way that I view it going forward. And ultimately, we won this game 2-0, and if we win the league 3 months from now, we're not going to be sitting here hyper analyzing this game and looking at 2-0 to Bournemouth really could have been 2-2. No, we're not. We're going to be basking in glory. So
we won't care about the result. 100% we won't care about the result. But let's get the show going. Big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you guys are smashing the like button on the way in. You guys can see there's a pinned link to there. Make sure you guys are signing up to my big up team, man. Let's grow. Let's big pause for that one. But let's head over there and build the army that I'm trying to build over there. If you haven't already, please do. There's quite a few of you guys now that signed up. Come over, man, because I need to get to a certain level before we can start cracking and getting stuff done over there. But let's talk about the game, man. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 2. Quasi, I'll go to you first, man. What's your positives and negatives from this game? As I said to you, I literally just finished watching it back, and I actually did. I sat down and I watched it because, as I said, no emotions, no adrenaline going, just literally just watching the football. And when you're not into the game, like when you're not,
first time around,
I actually thought it was a calm game. I watched the game going, why was I so on edge in this game? When I'm watching it back now, and I'm like, every time they had a moment, I felt like we could have done something about it. It wasn't like it wasn't a moment where we couldn't have got involved. Watch the way Gravenberch played. Just watching the way the boys were playing, I'm like, nah, this is calm, man. I think it's more because I know the importance of this victory. But what's your take on it, bro?
So for me, it was more of we were shooting ourselves in the foot a lot of times. Right? We have to give respect to Bournemouth. They are a very well-drilled machine. They are very good side. They got individual brilliance out there who could hurt you. And we saw it. The thing the annoying part with Liverpool is we shoot ourselves in our foot. We did what we were supposed to do. I won't say we played bad. We played a little bit above average, right? The guys kind of calmed the game down when Bournemouth was trying to, get an ascendancy in the match. It's just like you mentioned, Szoboszlai will get to the final third and he will slip. I'm like, brethren, what's going on, right? TRENT, losing the ball in the first 2 minutes. So it was those little things that you'd be like, okay, why are we shutting down? Is it our mentality or whatever? But in terms of the game, Liverpool played quite well. I was actually impressed for the importance of the game. This game was we talked earlier, I said it was a banana peel. You slip, then you bring in Arsenal and City back into the title race. Right? So Liverpool, in terms of the mentality was there that we are not dropping points today. However, you also have to give respect to Bournemouth because they're beating City and they're beating Arsenal. You have to respect them. The only concern I have is we making it hard on ourselves. That is the only part because we misplaced a couple of dangerous passes in the middle of the field. You know what I mean? If you are not careful, it hurts you. And also, maybe this is an off topic, but the way the stadium is built, the camera is not in the right places like Anfield is, because there was a lot of fouls where you would think the ref will call it, and then later on when you watch the game, you're like, no, that's not a foul. But when you watch it, you're like, wait a minute. Even with the Gakpo's thing, it feels like he fell. And when you watch it again, you'll be like, different angle gives you, wait, did he trip himself? And then when you look at the referee's angle, then you'll be like, I see that trip, right? So a lot of people who didn't go to the stadium, when you watch the way the camera is angled, a lot of times when there was a foul, you think, oh my God, that's a foul. Then you look at it later, the player actually got the all ball. And that went both ways. I thought the ref was on edge because he's the same VAR referee who remember last year in the Spurs, that was the guy. So I think he was a little bit on edge, but I'll give the referee a 5.5, maybe a 6. But for Liverpool, as you said, from now to the end of the season, performance, it's basically out the window for me as a fan. I just want the final result. So that's why I cried a lot during the beginning of the season, because I needed those performances so that when we get here, it's just a muscle memory.
Results now.
Just result. Because if you get here and you have to worry about performance, you're not winning the league. So,
Mike, what about you then, bro? Because we're in the game, but all I can see online at the moment is, did Gravenberch, was it a foul on Cody Gakpo? Should they have had a penalty there? I saw people even complain about the Trent one when he chested the ball and then he clipped it down line, but they say that should have been a pen as well. And then I even saw people even trying to, I don't even make Konate's feet bigger as well to say it was on that Kirkes was onside. But what did you make of those decisions in general, instead of just the game? But what did you make of those decisions? So the penalty and the offside, their offside goal.
I mean, listen, their offside goal is offside. It's just that simple. They relooked at it. His foot is beyond all the other players. I don't know what else you want. I mean, if you're going to complain, I don't complain about offsides, right? Ever since Luis Diaz, if you don't want to implement the technology that the UCL has that instantaneously does a 3D graphic that shows you without any deniability that it's offside, then we're not going to sit here and complain. If they call it offside, I'm going to live with it. If they call it onside, I'm going to live with it, right? It's that simple. With the penalty, again, in the moment, I didn't think it was a penalty for Gakpo. I thought it was soft. I thought Gakpo tripped over himself. I thought we were lucky. But then when you go back and you watch people zoom into it and they do it in super slow motion, it clips his calf. Like, it's so obvious. It hits his calf. It touches him. He's in motion. That causes his foot to then get knocked a little bit, which then clips on his own ankle, which makes it look like he trips over himself. But I'm just kind of at the stage where, like, I feel like everyone has been so hard done by officials that there's no point other than to just make a quick comment and move on. Like, it should not be, officials should not be a topic of debate. It should be said X, Y, and Z, but it doesn't matter. Let's continue. Kind of like the game against PSV, right? It should be said that the officiating was terrible and that he clearly impeded Endo, but it is what it is, because I see the same thing every week in every game, no matter what I'm watching. So, we could have a 20-minute debate on whether or not that would affect the game, or we could just accept it and move on and move forward. But I'm never going to blame officials for any sort of result, because that's just pointing at an excuse. And even if Cody Gakpo didn't get the penalty, we still won 2-0. We had a goal from open play, and Bournemouth still didn't score. So I don't really see the point of arguing that. If we had won 1-0, maybe, I'd let you go on a rant, but we won 2-0. So there's absolutely no point to be talking about the officials with this game.
Ed, real quick, I've been held accountable for what I said when we played them at Anfield by our member Dustin. So
hey,
Dustin,
don't worry about Dustin right now. line up. Dustin, you can wait, man. Let Quasi live for one day, bro. Let him live. No, but my question though, Quasi, bro, line up, man. Was this the lineup you happy with the lineup?
Let's be honest, this is the best lineup currently. As in terms of form, this is the best lineup. People don't really kind of like what Diaz being in the middle thing is not working. But today, this is the part where stats versus hard work, right? Performance versus GA. Diaz played, he was on point today. He just didn't score. Yeah, he didn't just score the goal, right? So if you look at it and say, oh, Diaz didn't score a goal, and that's all you're going to judge him on, bro, I can help you in football, because football is not just the one putting the ball in the back of the net. As you remember, I think in our argument, Mane versus Salah, I said sometimes you have to look at the person who is also doing the hard work for the other guy to put the ball in the back of the net. Hence, Mane gets the penalty, Salah put the ball in the back of the net, right? Today, Diaz was a problem for them.
100%.
He was a problem for them. And a player like him not scoring a goal, you'd be like, oh, why is he playing? We should have started Jota. We should have started Nunes. But then you watch the game again. If I were to ask you, what do you think? Because everybody on that list there played quite well. There was offshoot here where if you want to be petty, you'd be like, well, this person did this, this person did. All of them made a mistake. But as I said earlier, to me as a team, I feel like they played a little bit above average today. It wasn't a Liverpool third gear. We've seen Liverpool third gear. Today it was a second gear, right? A high level second gear. But especially people have to remember, Bournemouth beat Forest 5-0 last week. Bournemouth is playing very, very well right now. They are home. They haven't lost in 11 games at home, if my stats are correct. And the respect that I'm giving to Bournemouth is they got 12 players who are injured, who's supposed to be their starting lineup, compared to another team who's supposed to be competing, who's complaining when they have 2 or 3 players injured, right? So you have to give that respect. And then the moment of the game, which usually Liverpool don't do well when we play the moment. When we have a very important moment, we don't do well. We just play the moment, and then we come out with a draw. This game should have been a draw. They scored 2, we scored 2. Two great chances they created. One hit the pole, the other one, the guy killed birds, right? We scored 2 goals, 2-2. Usually that's what Liverpool should do. So I'm giving a lot of credit to Liverpool today, even though I feel like we could have done better. But because of the moment, the time, the purpose of this match, you have to give a lot of credit to Liverpool and everybody who started, including the people who came off the bench.
That's true. What about you then, Mike? Looking at the lineup, and before I get your take, big up to everyone in the chat, man. There's 80 of you in the chat. Big up. Make sure you guys are smashing the like, man. Don't just leave it there, unpressed. Let's just make sure we press it, get it out of the way, so I don't have to keep asking you and bugging you guys about it. But appreciate you guys, tuning in and locking into the stream. But what about you though, Mike? Because for me personally, I was like, start Nunes. Reason why I said start him, because he scores against these lot all the time. I couldn't believe it, because I was listening to, obviously the build up to the game. They're like, Nunes scored, and I was like, has he scored against these lots? So like, he did. Scored 2, scored 1. Like, he was just, and I thought, run it back. But as I said, I watched the game back, and Lucho did well, man. He ran the line so well. He was pressing from the front. He was aggressive, and even when those little tight areas when he just needs to bring the ball down and make the right decisions, he was doing that. He was really good today without the goal. But what's your take though, Mike, on the 11? Would you have changed anything? Everything was fine with you?
I've just kind of at this point in the season just gotten to know Slot, and it's not exactly like I'm flourishing in options to throw in the 9. You know what I mean? I got a bag of glass. I got a guy who can't hit the broadside of a barn, and I've got a left winger. So, I don't necessarily love Luis Diaz in the 9. I don't think that he was a problem today. I think that he has been a problem in the past. I am a little shocked. Not shocked. I am a little bit surprised that he didn't start Nunes, considering that he didn't play at all in the previous game against PSV. I figured, okay, he's gonna end up starting him, but no, I don't really have any real issues. And to me, the forward line was not the core focus of this game. On Friday on Hussam's channel, we were all kind of talking about it, and I was just like, if the midfield does their job, we won't have to worry about the forward line, because we will create chances. The midfield are the ones who need to show up in this kind of game against a team that's very in form. Bournemouth have the second best defense in the league prior to today, because we're joint best with Arsenal, so technically they're outright second. And they're not a bad team at all. I didn't have any issues with the back line, no issues with the midfield. Everything was pretty status quo. And I'm not going to sit here and harp over the fact that Nunes didn't start, because I don't think he would have made that game any different. Like, if I had put Darwin in there, what am I going to get differently? Maybe I get one pass in behind, and maybe he's able to create a shot. Okay. Is he going to do hold up play the way that Luis Diaz can? No. Is he going to press the way Luis Diaz can? Maybe I'll give you that. He'll be running all over the pitch, but what is the possible difference? If it's drastic enough you can complain, I don't think it is. So I've got no real issues.
Nah, fairs. Well, let's talk about the king man, Mo Salah himself, the GOAT himself. 2 goals today, and as I said, watch the game back with no emotions attached to it. He was calm today. I felt like he did everything that you needed to do from a performance standpoint, and then came up clutch when we needed him to. Outstanding for me, man. And even I was listening to the press conference at the end with Alisson, and he was talking. He was like, even though Mo doesn't like to trap back, and I see Mo cracking up. He said, even though, but today he defended and he helped us defend. And from your keeper is, giving you, that kind of praise to say, look, I know we don't necessarily need you all the time to drop back, but we love the work you did today. There was a few moments as well where you had to sprint back and try to triple up on, Semenyo, because he was on it today. And then Kirkes just, bombing down that left-hand side. He wasn't that good early in the game, Kirkes, but I think the second half he came into his own and he started being an issue, where in the first half I think we dealt with him really well down that side. And the tactical tweak that we did with Gravenberch, doing a lot more of the covering down that side as well, was very good, man. But yeah, what did you make of Salah today, man, and his performance? Because we always talk about the performance, and a lot of people is, like, shut up, man, get over it.
I think today, the squad, before I talk Salah, the whole squad were caught between the original default. I'm not going to mention the name because people will start losing their mind in the chat. We know what Liverpool default is, right? Default settings. The original default settings of Liverpool, and then our, slot ball. So a lot of times you could see they rushing things, and a lot of times they stay calm. Especially when towards the last 5, 6, maybe 10 minutes of the first half, we could have gone forward and tried to score maybe a second goal before the half was over. But then we got the ball, and then we will hit him on a transition, and we'll slow the ball down and go to the corner. And I saw like Mo doing that. Mo was also trying to slow down the tempo. I don't know whether it was a new tactics that the manager did, because you will see that Gravenberch was also going towards the line a little bit more than his usual, and then McAllister became the pivot. So I don't know whether we're playing a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 or whatever it was. It wasn't a usual Liverpool tactics that we've used at the beginning of the season. But Salah today, professional. That is the key word I can use for him. It's professional. It's like, bro, let's get the result. Right? Let's get the result. I mean, his second goal, you could see he didn't even want to. Bro, you just bypassed, what's his name? Frank Lampard, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And he didn't even celebrate. He just bowed down and gave you guys, I don't know what it means, but he just gave you that bow down thing. Because today was all about a professional performance from the whole squad. And you could see all of them. Like, they were trying to be focused. Like I said, we want to be petty. All of them made mistakes, including Mo. But today, Mo's performance today, I think that's one of his best professional performance all season. All season. The goal he scored, the penalty, he knew that it was important, because remember last season, was it last season or the previous season, where he had a penalty at Bournemouth and he missed, he went wide. So you could see that it was playing around his mind a little bit, but he's, that's why he's going to be the Ballon d'Or winner. So he buried it. And the goalkeeper also guessed the right way too.
Wow. Just looking at that, let me make it a bit bigger as well so the people can see, man.
I know, Leslie, real quick, Leslie is not that bow. Go watch. There's a picture. Liverpool Twitter has a picture of him. He didn't go down to bow. He stood up and gave you grand opening it, grand closed it. That's
180 goals. He's what? He's only 6 away now from.
So he passed Lampard.
Aguero. He's past Lampard now.
Yeah.
And he's 9 goals away from Andrew Cole.
How are you going to break that? He's going to break it. I think Aguero better watch out.
Nah, he will definitely pass it. But Mike, what do you make of Mo, man? Because I know you're obviously a big fan from the stream we did. That was jokes. Mike stood his ground, man. He said, "Nah, Mo is my guy." But he's 9 away now. He's literally 9 goals away from being top 4. And if he scores 10, let's say he finishes on 10 extra goals this season, I'll put him on 31 goals in the Prem. That will put him 4th in the all-time list of top goal scorers.
He has to stay. He's only 22 goals from 200. He has to stay. He has
22. Gee, okay, that's beautiful as well.
He's only 22 goals away from 200, which would put him as, I think, the 3rd or the 4th player with 200 plus. And also, the bigger stat, Mo's on 21-13. Mo could finish this season with 30-20. To me, if you were to break the assist record and get, or even tie it and get 30 goals, that's something that's just like undoable, right? To have 50 GA in the Premier League and you break the assist record, we would be absurd. But to be honest with you, today, penalty merchant strikes again. Simple as. Also, I was just thinking about this. Kepa, as far as I can remember, is 0 for 12 in saving penalties against Liverpool, because he was the goalkeeper. because and also he's 0-1 in taking penalties against Liverpool. Right? Because he skied over the bar, and all 11 players scored in the Carabao Cup final. And then obviously
the FA Cup. Don't forget the FA Cup.
But he wasn't the goalie in the FA Cup.
He wasn't?
Yeah, Mendy was for the penalty shootout. But regardless, and I think that was just because Tuchel was like, I can't have the whole Kepa debacle go over again. But regardless of that, listen, professional output is king. Again, we're at the stage of the season. I don't care about performances, especially not from the guy who has 70% of my GA. If you go out there and you get 2 goals, I don't care how you did it, and I don't care how you played, because you did it, and we didn't concede anything. And ultimately, can you name another player on our team who's going to pull up that second goal that he did as consistently as he has done it for us over the last 7 years? I can't. And so, given all of those facts, Mo is just continuing to put out this output at a ridiculous pace, and he's by far our most instrumental player. He's our best player, and just nothing but undeniable excellence when it comes to output and efficiency. Just week in, week out, getting the job done. And I've got no complaints from him. I mean, if you look at his stats, fantastic, 81% pass accuracy. He 3 dribble attempts, 2 of them were successful. He was even winning ground duels.
Yeah.
He won over 50% of his ground duels. He lost possession 12 times, but you're an attacker. I expect you to lose possession because you're trying to make things happen, which means that you're playing risky football. All good. Luis Diaz lost possession 10 times. I'm okay.
I never looked at that from the attackers, though, Mike.
Yeah.
I never do.
But he also won us. 3 fouls. So listen, Mo, unbelievable performance. And honestly, I think it was him who played the ball into Szoboszlai, who had the shot right in front of goal. And I think Szoboszlai should be doing better there. And so then that's potentially an assist as well. So,
are you talking about the one down the right channel? That was Cody.
Yeah,
that was Cody. When you ran across the midfield, and then
my bad.
Mo made the inside run, and then and I think he should have. He definitely should have done better with that one. I think he went too close to the goalkeeper, in my opinion.
The first touch was poor.
Do you know what? He's on 21 goals now, 13 assists. Do you think in the next couple of games he should try and rack up those assists?
Yes,
because I want him to beat that on. I just want him to beat the Henry record as well, because then it's just the extra ammunition. Because I'm shameless.
21 assists. I want 21 assists and I want 30 goals. I want the first player to get 30-20, and I don't think that'll ever be touched.
Wow.
I think
30-20 is an untouchable record. It's like a Shohei Ohtani going 50-50 in baseball. No one's going to hit 50 home runs and get 50 stolen bases in a season again.
I was 7 days, and the performance he put in today, when we're not talking about GA, we're talking about performance. If he does that to the end of the season, I'm happy. Because guess what? He will get the GAs if he plays consistently. That's why, again, I come back and I say Bournemouth is a very good team. That defender, that young center back, what's his name? Blonde kid. Starts with H. I guess that's the one that everybody says should come to Liverpool or something.
Spanish as well.
And he was pretty good. He and Kirkers were on Salah. They're young, so they could run back and forth compared to if we were playing a team like City where, if Walker bumps forward, it's over. He can't come back anymore. So Diaz on his own. Go ahead, Mike.
There's one more point that I want to make about Salah, because I think that, listen, when you're the output king, you're going to have all of these eyes on you. So it's fair, right? But sometimes I feel like when people say Salah ghosts in a game, they're not looking at the fact that, okay, Salah may ghost, but why is he ghosting? Is he ghosting because he's getting beat time and time again on one-on-ones? Or is he ghosting because we can't get the ball there? Is he ghosting because the right side of the pitch is not fluid? Is he ghosting because we can't create from anywhere, right? Salah has never been the guy. I mean, listen, yes, in moments he can just dazzle you in the box. But again, I don't expect that every game. No one does. So he's not this kind of dude who's just going to pick up the ball from midfield and dice through the whole team and, slot one in home. It just doesn't happen unless it's in transition. So, again, I understand the criticisms of the ghosting of Salah, but at the same time, you have to look at everyone else and be, why is he ghosting? Why is this performance so subpar? And I would love to continue to see these kind of performances, but also, the rest of the team needs to be there, right? Szoboszlai needs to pick up offensive output, which he has been recently. GRAVENBERCH needs to pick up a little bit of offensive output. Trent needs to pick up offensive output. The whole right side needs to do better in order for the right wing to work. So, ghost or not, 30.
I think, Mike, I think the rest of the team is starting to kind of like pick up the slack, for better word, because they are not overfeeding Salah when he can't do anything, instead of always giving the ball and let Salah create a miracle. Like there was a shot today that Szoboszlai, I don't know if he had it or he passed. Salah was there, but he didn't pass it, and he made an attempt, and I think he slipped. right? Back in the day, the ball would have been with Salah a long time ago before he even think about whatever he wants to think about, right? The fact that he's doing that, I'm happy. Gakpo today, he had a shot from 27 yard out. That is what I want to see. When they all do that, guess what? Now is a triple threat. You don't know who is going to do what. Because everybody knows Salah is going to do everything. So what do? They double, triple team that side. And then guess what we do? We keep feeding Salah. We're like, bro, we got Diaz standing on the left side, hasn't touched the ball twice. And as soon as he touches the ball once and he loses it, everybody gets on his case. You know, so this season is probably the most balanced I've seen Liverpool been since when Bobby and, as Pop would say, the Red Arrows were at their pump. This season is the most balanced I've seen them, where now the guys are all kind of, you know, everybody's sharing, everybody's stepping up. It's not just sharing. We're sharing, you don't do anything with it. Okay, you have a problem, right? But you have to feed Salah, like Pop's saying. You have to feed him at the right place. You can't just give him the ball and say, run down the line, Salah, and go dribble 3-4 guys. That makes no sense to me. He's not that young anymore. That should be Gakpo and Diaz doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is why he's dropped into this creative bag, and that's why he has 13 assists in what 23 games now. I think is what we've played, which is crazy. That's insane. That's an assist every other game. That's absurd. If he continues on that, an assist every other game, what would that be? 19 assists, and there's some games where he's had 2. So you can, I mean, on this pace, he will beat the.
There is a game coming though, Mike. I believe that he will get like 3 assists in the game. There is a game. I can feel
he could have more. He could have more if Darwin could finish. He could have more if other people could have finished earlier on in the season. Mo would already be on like 18, and that's crazy to think that he has 13 assists and we have left assists on the table for him is mental.
Tell Jota to stay fit. And then
Jota is back now, isn't he? So we can throw him back in.
Ease him in though. Ease him in though. I don't want him starting quite yet because he's just gonna get rehurt. Just 20 minutes here and there.
Take your time.
But that's what we did, Mike, and then he got injured. That's what we did. We gave him 20.
I've been trying to say he's a bag of glass for 2 years, but everyone says, "Oh, Darwin's not good enough." I'm like, okay, but he's better than someone who isn't there, right? So, you know, we're just get a little bit healthier, drink a little bit more milk. A little bit more.
What about this one then, Quasi? He said my main target is to win the Premier League.
I love it. That's what I want to hear from my superstars. The fact that I want to win rather than we do our best, that kind of political statement they like to make. That means that is their target. Champions League probably the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? So my main target is to win because you know why? Because if he wins it, that conversation between he and Hazard and Henry, or even Steven G.
There are no conversations.
There's no that. Hey, Mike, you said it. You said it. I didn't say it because if I say it, I'm in trouble.
Oh, I don't care. Come at me. I already don't think. I already don't
I'm
think.
Just saying.
I already think that the conversation has ended. It's been long gone. It isn't even a combo. But
yeah.
Premier League.
Are you saying about the Henry stuff between him and Henry?
I'm saying it between anyone that you compare him to. I think that the fact that he's a right winger who has over 300 GA for us, like just for our club, like let's just exclude other clubs. For us in the Premier League era, I don't see anyone more impactful than Mohamed Salah. Because if you take him out of the team, we are a shadow of what we were. It's just that simple. I don't think that we are. I don't think we get to 3 Champions League finals. I don't think that you could make the argument. I don't think that maybe we don't win the Premier League, but we
Champions League finals. He wasn't there in the semifinals.
He was there for the first one, and he was there for the second. He was there for the first one, and he was there for the third one. His 2 goals against Roma. World class.
Don't start because what?
No, I'm just saying we have to be fair. We have to be fair for the rest of the guys. I'm just saying he wasn't there for
Barcelona. He wasn't there for Barcelona, but his goals are what helped us get to Barcelona in the first place, right? But he wasn't there for that.
No, I agree.
He wasn't there for that. But
yeah,
but again, this is just a personal opinion. I also I didn't grow up in the Stevie G era. I'm not like you
Mm.
guys. I wasn't watching Liverpool every week in 2005. But to me, just numbers alone, like the dude is 22 goals away from 200. If he signs on for one more season, he will get that. 200 goals as a winger is absurd. That's straight up absurdity. 200 goals alone as any kind of player is absurd. But to do it as a winger is insane. And the fact that he could even get to like 90 assists. What is he? 15 assists away, 14 assists away from 90? If he stays here another 2 years and he gets 13 assists in each of those years, he gets to 100 assists. That's 300 GA in the Premier League would be the most absurd stat ever.
Yeah. Especially for Premier League, you know.
Exactly.
But the thing is, you know, per numbers, he eclipsed Stevie G. And I've said it numerous times, if I've ever put a player's name behind my jersey, it's going to be Stevie G. In terms of numbers, numericals, he passed Stevie G. The thing with Stevie G is how he made the fans feel, what he did, literally putting the whole club on, you know, that guy went through some weird times. And everything was, if Stevie J is playing, we have a chance.
We have it. Do you know what is crazy though, Quasi, you say that? Because obviously Mike is only speaking from his standpoint.
Right.
So when he's like, nah, Mo Salah is his guy, I'm like, nah, man, Stevie. But I get it, because obviously he's saying you weren't watching it then. But you see the same feeling that you have, right? I can only just say, imagine that even times 10, because in that moment, in those moments as a Liverpool fan, we weren't relevant. Like, we weren't even.
Yeah, I know. He also had four players playing.
It was
with
like
him.
Man United, Chelsea, and Arsenal, and it was Man United and Arsenal.
Some seasons he had world-class players, but
yeah,
for the most part.
And then, but when Gerrard just allowed us to just be within the conversation, he just allowed us to just be like, at least we have Steven Gerrard, bro. That's what it was. And then obviously with this modern day, like this Liverpool, at least we can say we have Mo, we have Alisson, we got Virgil. I know there was a period when he had like Alonso, he had Mascherano, he had Torres, but that wasn't for a long period of time, because as soon as we started doing well, the man, you know, Real Madrid and Barcelona came calling, bro. And then,
well, listen, very, very, very different eras, which is why like, when I speak about this, I'm like, this is just my perspective. Everyone, like I know that you guys are going to have different ones. But you know, just
Mike, one thing I'll tell you this, right, Mike? The numbers that he's pulling, and I told this to G at the beginning of the season. This could be his Steven G season, because, I mean, like you said, everything is on Salah, right? 70% GAs in terms of the whole thing. That's basically what Stevie G was doing. Like, you know, 2005. Everybody, what do you say? 2005. People think it's the final. But people forgetting that against Olympiacos at Anfield, if Steven G doesn't score, there's no Istanbul for us to talk about it. But, so Salah is having his Steven G moment right now this season in terms of numbers.
I would hear the argument that Gerrard was more. I feel like as a midfielder, you are 1,000 times more important than the right wing, regardless of what your output is, because without you, the right wing doesn't get those chances, right? So I like, that's reason why I'm just like, I hear other people's arguments. Again, I'm personally biased and I'll just say it up front. But like without Jordan Henderson and Fabinho and Gini Wijnaldum, Mo Salah is nothing, Sadio Mane is nothing, Roberto Firmino is nothing, right? Without the midfield, Harry Kane would have been nothing. Alan Shearer would have been nothing, right? Anyone who is a forward would be nothing without the solid midfield. So, you know, because of how good he was in the midfield, I perfectly okay with people saying that he's our Premier League GOAT, because it's a more instrumental position in the team ultimately, and he affects more parts of the game than Mo can.
Yeah, and of course he's also a Scouser, so you can't you can't debate that.
So most of the past two Premier League legends, Henry and Frank Lampard, man, and Frank Lampard was a beast as well when he was in there. But let's talk about Gravenberch, man. I want to shift it over to him. As I said, I watched the game back. Honestly, man, this guy is unreal. Like, and I know he's not gonna get the plaudits. I'm watching him today. Still key from a defensive standpoint. He's there defending. He's attacking. He's just mopping up little, you know, putting out little fires where he's needed to, filling in the back line when he's needed to. His distances between him and the defense, from him and the midfield, he's just there. and everything he's doing is just silky as hell, man. He's more aggressive now as well, you know, from previous season or the last season, where you're like, nah, he's getting brushed off the ball a bit too easy. He's, you know, it looks a bit too flimsy. Nah, he ain't having none of that this season, man. And as I said, it's crazy because obviously Mo deserves applaud it because he got us to win with the goals. But watching Gravenberch back, man, honestly, man, I don't know, chat, big up to you guys as well. I know you guys were watching how saucy this man has been this season, but in this game, yeah.
Bro.
What do you guys make of him, bro?
Before I answer that, Liverpool, we got 3 players going for the Player of the Year. Not just for Liverpool. I'm talking about the whole EPL. Win the league or not. Win the league or not. We got 3 players right now who we could say, somebody, I know Mike would say, well, if Salah don't give us that 70% GAs, we don't do anything. But then I'm like, my captain is also shutting down any potential goals going in to offset what Salah is doing. And the ends will be like, well, what about my guy protecting both of them? Gravenberch, right? So that's the part where I like the team that we have right now, where the manager also needs to be congratulated with that, because everybody wanted Gravenberch sold last season. Like literally halfway through the season, people were like, nah, he's not good enough. Get him out of here. He's always injured, blah, 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 blah. But now we looking at him and people are like, okay, we don't want to put the world-class label on him, but you can't tell me he's not playing. The form that he's in is not a world-class level. Like right now, how many players in the world are better than him? You can't get more than 5 over him. They started trying that whole Caicedo thing, and then that balloon went off real quick, right? I mean, today, this guy, when we talk, what did they call it? Le Rule de Zidane. He did that, and I think who stole the ball away from him? I think it was Diaz or Szoboszlai who, when he turned, as soon as he turned, they took the ball away from him. I was like, let the man cook. Right now, I don't see any midfielder in the league who and he can play center back. He plays center back like he's a center back. Don't worry about his shot. I know today he killed about 5 birds today when he did that left shot.
Nah, let him off for that.
That one, he can do that 3-4 times a game. I don't care. But this guy right now, I'm telling you, and it's not just the skill. People are also overlooking something, and you said it, and his mental focus. He is mentally strong this season. Like, literally, I'm thinking that he's giving a bunch of middle finger to some Liverpool fans. We're not going to mention names. Bayern Munich. And some people of the management from last season. I'm just not going to mention names, like I said.
Wow.
But I'm saying that where this guy's mental strength is ridiculous. The fact that we were down a man and he plays center back and midfield, and didn't miss a step. You can't tell me he's not player of the year form right now. And today's game, yes, like I said, everybody made a mistake. Today he misplaces a pass. He should have passed the ball. He held the ball too long. The ball got stolen from him. I can mention all petty stuff. But if you were a football man and you were enjoying what you saw and you watched the game again, was it different from the first time?
No, it was, because I did see what he was doing, but it wasn't to this extent. Because obviously now I'm like, nah, get the ball. I'm in the rush. Like, move the ball a bit quicker. Get it forward. Blah, blah, blah. But actually sitting back because I knew the result, watching, what he was doing. Like, even just looking at some of his where he gets his positional sense. As soon as he sees, like, I don't know, maybe Konate maybe drifting out wide to go and maybe cover that position, he drops in straight away. As soon as he knows Trent is 1v1, he's sprinting back to make sure he's doubled up with Semenyo. Like, he was just in the right places. When they had a free kick as well, I think it was Brooks put it in there. It weren't the centre backs that was clearing it. It was Gravenberch.
No, that was him.
So it was just, it was mad. But
and one thing that we don't give him credit to, his communication.
He's starting to stand, bro.
He communicates. I didn't see it at the beginning of the season, but recently, maybe say since November to now, he, even when the subs comes in, what does he do? He's the one saying, "Hey, make sure this is done," especially the defenders, right? Like if people say, well, "What are you talking about?" Go watch the game when Bradley came on. And he was directing Bradley, okay, this is what I need you to do. This is what I need to do. I'm going to be going on your side, so make sure you cover me through the middle. That is what you need from that's a leadership quality, actually. That's a leadership quality that we are seeing. Just because he's quiet and he's laid back, that's what damn it. That's how Stephen G used to be. He doesn't talk, but he plays and everybody follows. We have players that bark orders, right? Like the Rios and Terry's. And then you got somebody like or even Henderson. But then you have people like Virgil who are they are not those type of things. They just let you know what's going on. And then you have the players who play by example, like the Stephen G's and the Lampards and stuff like that. To me, I'm starting to see that from this guy. I'm not saying he's the next Stephen G, people. I didn't say that. I'm just looking at the profile, the way they conduct themselves in midfield. I'm seeing that leadership quality of telling people, he doesn't matter. He talks to Virgil too. He tells Virgil where he needs to be at, right? That is a leadership quality. And, to be a leader, you have to be able to take orders too.
What about you then, Mike, bro? I'm looking at his stats. I don't know if you've got them up. You wanna kind of go through them, but yeah, that's ridiculous. The amount of ground he covered, the amount of tackles he made. I'll let you talk to the people about that side of it.
Yeah, let me pull it up here. But listen, Gravenberch this season individually has been fantastic, right? First off, 93% pass accuracy from a midfielder. That's just like, what the fuck? What are you doing, bro? Two key passes. Only lost possession 5 times. He won 9 of 13 ground duels. Was fouled once. He had 3 clearances. He had 4 interceptions. He had 7 total tackles. He was only dribbled past once. Again, I expect you to be. You're a midfielder. It's going to happen. He played all 90 minutes. The guy has been individually our best midfielder. Like, not even a debate. This isn't even a conversation. He's been the most instrumental midfielder in this slot system, but he's also been the largest beneficiary of the system change, right? Because we can sit here and we can compliment him as much as we want, but we know that as a lone 6, he doesn't produce these kind of numbers, right? He needs that double pivot. He also needs that cohesive 3-man system that Slot has built, right? Szoboszlai is everywhere, right? So he knows, all right, I'm always going to have an outlet. Some games, i.e. Brighton, we're getting pressed heavily. We're finding difficulties, but these things happen with a new manager and learning a system. So I expect there to be hiccups. And we also came out with the win in that game. Yeah. Southampton also gave us trouble with the press. But again, we came out with the win because we were able to absorb it. And then we adjusted in the second half and we moved. And no team can press like that for 90 minutes. So we know some of his weaknesses, but we also know all of his strengths. And we also know that the rest of the midfield is picking up the slack and the cohesiveness is getting better game after game after game, right? Like Szoboszlai started the season. We were all like, okay, I'm not too sure. I feel like maybe we need another 10. I don't like how defensive he is. Now at this point in the season, he's grown into it. He's becoming more confident. He's getting more involved in the attacking element. And we also have the defensive aspect, right? So what we were criticizing about beforehand is now becoming an added attribute to what he is now producing in the present moment. Same thing with McAllister. I mean, people say that he's not a good defender. I'm like, did you watch the United game? I mean, did you watch how
that again.
He won? Did you watch?
Again.
Did you watch what he was doing?
Right.
Listen, that isn't his. That's not his forte, right? And I don't expect him to be used as a defensive midfielder, but he can do a job when everyone else is doing their job. And right now, that's just what I'm seeing. I'm just seeing perfect cohesiveness between the 3 in the moments that matter, with Gravenberch showing individually why he should be considered our best midfielder, because the half turns exceptional, the confidence exceptional.
Disgusting.
I like the only criticism that I would have, but it's really not a criticism. It's just more of like, I wish I saw this more. Would be, I think that he does have potential in the opposing box. I think that he could be a midfielder that scores goals. I think that he could get into attacking positions. We saw that last season. I mean, Brighton, again, being an example, skies it over the bar from 2 feet, but also it is what it is. Bygones be bygones. But, in this system, I don't think that that's his job. I do think that McAllister is better than that. So I'm fine with McAllister being that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, if he takes these shots from outside of the box and he scores 2 goals in a season, fair play, like awesome, wonderful. But that's not your job in this system. That's not what you were designed to do. So I'm not going to put those expectations on you. He's been fantastic, but we also have to compliment everybody else because, he's only raised when the rest of the triangle is working. And when the rest of the triangle is working, he's looking like the best midfielder in the Premier League at the current moment. But yeah, bro, the guy deserves it. He's unbelievable. Slot has found a gem in him. And the good news is that we don't have to spend money because we already have him. So
that's an 80 million player right there, man.
We need to, man. But then speaking about the, obviously we've been all, sunshines and rainbows, but now we've got an injury in the team to the Trent Alexander-Arnold. The manager obviously doesn't know what it is yet. Obviously, it looked like it was his thigh. I don't know how bad it's going to be. Hopefully, we'll find out in the next couple of days anyway. But he's definitely going to miss the Spurs game. I don't think he would have played against Plymouth anyway, so you would have been rested for that. So you got a couple of days off there. But then obviously we're going to need him back for maybe Everton, or maybe Bradley is the one that's going to be needed for that one. But
you're not
what do you guys make of his performance as well in the game? Because I did see, like, for me, as I said, I watched it back. The first couple of minutes, yeah, he lost the ball, dropped back in, and I think there was one other moment where Semenyo got by him, he cuts inside, and then I don't know how Trent lost him, and that's when Semenyo hit the post. But other than that, I honestly don't think there was anything else he did wrong. But it felt, what it felt like? He felt like he was just on cruise mode in the game. It felt like he was just,
which is what I don't want to see from Trent.
Yeah, that's honestly
that's the thing. I don't
just felt like he was today's game. He was just going through the motion today.
Yeah,
he was just I'll pass it here. Yeah, I'll just get it.
And
yeah, I don't know. What did you guys make of it?
I think all three of these guys decided. I think they all three made a pact, and I think Trent, all three of them made a pact, and the pact. The other two can handle it, but I think he's weighing way too much on Trent, maybe because he's a Scouser, he's a captain, he wants to be the next Stephen G, he wants to be the next Mr. Liverpool. And I think the fact that they haven't made a decision on whether they're staying or they're going, I think it is weighing a lot on him. And out of all of them three, is showing on him. People will say, well, we've seen this on Trent, so it shouldn't be like that. But I'm sorry, this one is different. And I'll go back to the Manchester United game. That is the only game you wake up as a Liverpool fan or a Liverpool player, this game is at Anfield. That's the only game. If I'm going to be useless the rest of the season, that is the only 2 games that I have to wake up for. And he didn't. Like, he totally, like, he didn't even care. His body language felt like he didn't even care. That's why a lot of people were going at him at the same time the whole Madrid thing was going on. But today, it was like it felt like he hasn't woke up yet. He just got off bed and he was just brushing his teeth and he was just getting ready. He was getting ready to play while the game was going on. I'm like, brother, are you awake?
Yeah, you ain't even stretched yet.
You're not even stretched yet. You feel like your hamstring is going to pull, right? I think with him, I personally believe has nothing to do with skill or anything else. It's just his mental is not here. Until he makes a decision for himself, we're not going to see the best of Trent. Yes, we're not going to see it.
Big up Scraps. That envy wasn't good. Like, initially, Scraps, 100%, I agree. But as I said, I literally just sat there and I was like, oh, he came on. I think he was just, when they put on game of the day, he was just on. And I thought, okay, I know the result. I'm happy as hell. We're 9 points clear. Let me just sit and watch it. And I promise you, like, for me, it weren't even that he was bad. It just looked like he was not there today. He was it was literally like, raw, I have to play today.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just going through the motions.
Going through the motion. I'm like, brother, wake up.
It was meant, bro. It was mental. It was mental watching it. I was just like, bro, you good?
Yeah.
You're right today, bro. You sure? You're right. It was crazy. It was crazy. But go on, Mike. What have you got to say about Mr. Trent?
I mean, listen, Ends, as you know, I'm not exactly his biggest fan this season.
Yep,
but listen, first and foremost, he lost possession 23 times, but I'm beginning to see a pattern.
Wait, this game?
Yeah, 23.
Go on. Yeah.
I'm beginning to see a pattern. Consistently, I'm seeing him give away possession 20 plus times in a game, and I'm seeing him play the same way. So either we're all stupid and he's doing what Slot is telling him to do, or Slot just doesn't trust Connor Bradley, feels like he has to play Trent because the club wants to keep him, and Trent is continuing to do the same thing that he's doing over and over again. None of us can know the answer to that, so I'm not going to harp on it, right?
Right.
But again, 64% pass accuracy from the guy who I'm supposed to say is the best right back in the world because of his offensive output, that's unacceptable. And this is not the first game that I've seen that. When it comes to his defensive capabilities, again, this game, the Kirkes offside goal, he's double teaming, he's not tracking, gets behind him, he's offside, fares. There was another goal. There was another opportunity, the 49th minute. Trent is in his position. The ball gets to, I don't know who the player is, but he's about 15 yards outside the box. Trent vacates his position with the whole back line, runs 15 yards outside of the box to challenge the guy who has no business being challenged because the defense is the defense is all in order. What are you leaving the box for? Semenyo gets in behind, gets a one-on-one. Allison makes the save, right? Defensively, when people were saying that he was good this season, personally, I think it's just he was doing his best job to usher the work to Konate, and then Konate would clean up. Yes, there were moments where he was decent one-on-one, but for the most part, it was ushering offensive players into certain areas to make it the highest probability that Konate would end up winning it, and then we move. But to me, I'm never going to expect defensive excellence from him. I'm never going to, but I want the bare fundamentals. If you get burnt, fair, like all good. If you do the basics and you get burnt, I'm not going to sit here and whine. But when you're not giving effort and when you're not learning from your mistakes week in, week out, that's where I'm going to have a problem. And if you were producing the offensive output that you supposedly makes you the best right back in the world, then I would shut up because it would be like Mo. I'd be like, fine, you know what? You're putting all the output. I'm not going to criticize you. You got 70% of my goals. You know what? Sit on a lawn chair for 89 minutes. If you score me a double, I don't care what you do. We'll play with 10 men all day. All good. But I'm not getting that benefit. I'm not getting the X factor on a consistent basis. He has won us points this season, but he has also lost us points. He won us points against Newcastle. He won us points against Arsenal, but he also lost us points against Fulham. So, you know, he also lost those points against United. So it's like it's a trade-off every week. You know what I mean? And it's funny because his best offensive games have been games where we just obliterate the opponent, right? When you look at like a game like Ipswich, where people were giving him tons of praise. You look at games like West Ham, where people were giving him tons of praise. We won those by a collective 9-2. Like, yeah, of course I can praise him because the opposition did nothing. And he got an assist in each of those games. So he's always going to look better. But the issue for me is that in close games, defensively, he is being too much of a liability. And I will hear the comparison because when Connor Bradley's in there, they still attack us down that side. So clearly there's something going on the right side of the pitch where they feel like they can expose us. Allison was on it today. Allison bailed out Trent a few times. I know how important he is. I know that he's an X factor. So it's not like I'm going to sit here and disingenuously say, bin him. But at the same time, he's losing favor with me every week. And, you know, I know that he can win us a point, but at the same time, at what cost? And when will it start to cost us? Because right now it's kind of just been, he's not costing us losses. Other teams are dropping points. There's trade-offs everywhere. But at some point, this repeated behavior will cost us in a way where I can't rectify it and I can't make an excuse. And then you're going to sit here and you're going to say, where did this come from? Was the writing on the wall? But this is supposed to be, you know, our star scouser who you can't criticize. But listen, you know, maybe I'm being harsh, but this is just a pattern that I've seen throughout the season. I want better from him. I think he can do better. I expect better. But we won the game 2-0. So, you know, for all of those mistakes that he made, we still won. They still didn't score. Hopefully he gets healthy as soon as possible. I never like to see anyone hurt. Doesn't matter who you are, who you play for. Injuries suck. But I think Connor Bradley we will be fine. I don't think that if we miss him for a couple games, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world.
And we have Gomez back. But this is the part where, as Liverpool fans, we have to be fair. I'm an equal opportunities criticizer. I talk about Salah and his performance all season. I'm going to say the same thing about Trent. The only person I don't criticize enough is Alisson, but, he's special. Now, I mean, sometimes we have to talk about performance. I know from now to the end of the season, we are looking more the result. But even though we are looking more into the result, we still have to also look at performances, because eventually the result is going to be very, very tough, and you will need performance to get you over the line, i.e., the Brentford game, right? We played. I won't say we played bad. We played well. The result was not coming. The performance was good. The result wasn't there, and then guess what? Nunes comes in, bam, bam, two goals.
Trent is the guy. See, like, again, Quasi, perfect example, because that's a moment where I would say, Trent, you won us something. But to that end, though, I feel like Trent has kind of fallen into this area where whenever I'm sitting here and I'm praising him, it's because of chaos, right? Like Newcastle, that was chaos. Getting into the opposing third in a position where Slot clearly isn't putting him. But that's somewhere where we would see him with Jurgen. But that's because we're desperate for a goal. All of a sudden, I see the best of Trent. It's when he's sitting back in the position where Slot wants him, where I'm like, okay, why am I not seeing this Trent? Maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe it's a familiarity thing. Maybe it's just a pattern thing. But it's odd that when he gets into the box, I feel like I'm seeing the Trent of old. But when he's not in the box, I feel like I'm looking at, his best impression of Nathaniel Klein.
Yeah. And also people, as much as, and I know Michael agreed to this, Enzo agreed, as much as we saying, we're looking for results, we still need to put in the performance to get those results. We can't just say we're going to be shit for 90 minutes and hopefully Nunes will put a banger in and then that's it. No, that's not what we're talking about. We just saying it's going to be, from now on to the end of the season, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be, this is where football is, right? Where everybody is fighting for their life, especially the bottom half, and then some of the people who are trying to make it to Europe. So you're not going to be able to play that sexy football, the Liverpool exciting football, because it's going to be cagey. And Bournemouth was trying hard to make it a scrappy, cagey match. That's where I give credit to Liverpool, our mentality where we did our best. Every time they go crazy, we were like, no, bring it down. And then we will bring it down, we will control the tempo, and then bam, bam, couple goals goes in, right? Or a couple of chances, we hit the post. So that is going to be the rest of the season, and we need our guys to do that. And the crazy thing is, we have to be like bipolar because we are also in the Champions League. And the Champions League games are not going to be like the EPL games. So these guys have to be able to switch between when they come back from Champions League to now we have to play the EPL game. Champions League, you can play sexy football because the refereeing are different. Now you have to switch your mindset back to an EPL where the ref is like, bomb that. Like today, a couple of times, I think Gakpo got fouled. The ref was like, bro, you better get up.
Yeah,
Jones gets
to pull his shirt off, bro. And I was like,
you know what I
mean? It's not no foul, no? He's like, nah.
Jones, we have the ball. The other player gets injured. The ref gives the ball to Jones. He didn't even touch the ball. And then they take the ball and then they almost scored. And we were like, bro, sportsmanship. What happened to sportsmanship? From now to the end of the season.
He's meant to allow Jones to get the first touch.
At least touch the ball. Yeah. And he didn't touch the ball.
Didn't touch the ball.
You see what I mean? And we have to expect this till May, especially on the EPL side. So our performance have to match everything that comes at us. And we have to show people why we are better. Now, a lot of times we are not going to play like we played against Real Madrid or Bayern Leverkusen. But we have to play like we played against Brentford and came back with 3 points. So that's what I think it is.
We're I mean, the luxury of our situation right now is that every game that we've dropped points, which, oddly enough have been in like the last 4 weeks, those have all been where everyone else drops points. So we that's the element of luck, right? So when we dropped, everyone dropped, we got luck, right? Whereas in the past, it would be when we dropped, everyone gained. This season, a little bit different. Awesome, right? The second element of luck, well, it just so happens that the way that all the seeds landed in the Champions League, we're potentially not going to have to play a super difficult on paper team until the semifinal. If everything goes properly, even if all the highest seeded teams win, I mean, we can end up playing Lille in the quarterfinal. Well, we already beat Lille, and no disrespect to them, but I don't even think that we played well, and we still beat them, right? So another element of luck, we're at a 9-point lead with a game in hand. If somehow Manchester City pull this game off tomorrow, and then we win our game in hand against Everton,
it's a wrap.
That's a 12-point lead. All of a sudden, the more that gets, the more. I mean, even if Arsenal draw, the way I'm trying to look at it is every time Arsenal drop points, I've bought myself a game. So if Arsenal draw to City, now I can draw. Now I can draw to City away because boom, cancel each other out. If Arsenal lose, well then a draw just gets me even further. But it's not even like a point discrepancy thing anymore. Now it just becomes games. There's 15 games. How many do I have to drop points in order to make you win? How many do you have to? How many can you drop? How many games can you drop points in which I buy insurance, which then furthers me closer to the title? If we shore this up sooner than later, well then all of a sudden, I mean, if I win the league with 5 games to go, I don't care if you lose the next 5 games to win the Champions League.
It's over.
I don't care about any point record. I don't care about a record. Short up as soon as possible so that you can go full regalia. Start the youth team against Chelsea away. I don't care. It means nothing.
Let's talk about it then, Mike. Man City tomorrow. Chat, I want to know your honest opinion. Obviously, where's your head at? Do you want it to be a draw or do you want Man City to win? For me, I want Man City to win tomorrow. I just need Arsenal to just feel a defeat because I know how their fan base minds are. They will lose their mind. If they lose tomorrow and it's 9 points and we have the game in hand, they're gonna lose their mind. I'm telling you. And I would love it if it's a referee decision as well.
Oh, trust me.
Just
99th minute penalty, 1-1, peak, right? But I want to outlay a scenario, and then I want you to tell me which one you think is better, right? So we'll start with Arsenal lose, City win. That means that City are 12 points behind us with a game in hand, and with us having a game in hand, and Arsenal are now 9 points behind us with a game in hand. But on the opposing side, if Manchester City and Arsenal draw, that means that both of them essentially, 1 point added. If we win our game in hand, we're 11 points ahead of Arsenal, and we're 17 points ahead of Manchester City. That means that of the next 15 games, I have now bought myself a draw. We're not gonna win the next 15 games. We're gonna have a draw at some point. But if Man City win and then they go on a ridiculous run, that's the last team in the world I want to have even be within 10 points of me because there's the whole mental aspect of us bottling things. But if they draw, I can now draw away at the Etihad. Meaningless to me because everything remains unchanged because you drew that game. And now I'm still at a 11-point lead. You're basically just picking up nothing because it's just canceling each other out. The game in hand was the draw that you had. That's it. So we're still, what would it be, 11 points ahead? So that's if we win the game against Everton. I just think mathematically, whipping out my calculator like Hussam would like to say, I think it might favor us to draw, but obviously I would love a Manchester City win. But I think it's going to be really difficult for them because their defense is atrocious. I mean, if Club Brugge had even like 2% better forwards, they would have gone up 2-1 in that game.
Ain't even as you wouldn't even say their forwards is as good as Club Brugge either.
They're horrendous, but Man City's set piece defending this season has been absolutely atrocious, and I'm guaranteeing a goal off of a corner for Arsenal. To me, it just becomes if Arsenal take the lead, is Mikel going to fall into the same trap that he has forever? Is he going to break the pattern? Will I finally put my foot on the throat and go for gold? Will I finally, stab you in the back and finish this? Or is he going to revert to, style? Is he going to be pragmatic? Is he going to try to not lose the game? I don't know.
Do you know what? I think there's going to be a couple of differences. I feel Foden being in form, like last month or say this month he's had 6 goals and a couple of assists. Haaland as well, just scoring, and he looked sharp in the Chelsea game, to be fair. I didn't watch the Champions League game, so I'm not too sure how he did in that one. And then Omar Mamish, I think he'll make the difference, because a lot of times when they've played each other recently, right, it's the main focus between Saliba and Gabriel is like, can we keep Haaland quiet? Be aggressive, be strong. But having a player like, Omar in there, and he will consistently keep running in behind, they can't both then get drawn into doing this battling thing with Haaland, because the moment they do that, they'll just knock a long ball in behind. And now they have the ability to just knock it in behind, where before they go Haaland feet and then we can play off of it. And then there's a couple of times where he's probably, he's made a good run and we can slide him in. But now we can either go to feet with Haaland or we can just knock it in behind now. And I think with Mamouche, and I think they'll play a 4-2-3-1 and Mamouche will play on that left. And I don't see Saliba and Timber. They're quick players, don't get me wrong, but Omar is a different level of speed. And I feel like that would then open up the spaces that a Foden needs and a Haaland needs to hurt them. And that's where I see. But you're right. I agree. Their defense this season has been shocking. And that's why I said, Mike, I want them to win, because I know they will draw another game or lose another game in the Premier League. I know they will do that. But I need them to beat Arsenal, because I just want
it'll be peak.
To lose their mind. And I just want it to be where they lose, and then it's like, oh, it's the ref. And I want them to just get tied up into that, where they just more focus on, oh, it's the ref, it's the ref, it's the ref. Let's abuse the refs. And then we're just like, okay, keep abusing them, because they're going to be games when they're going to remember the things you've been saying as a fan base and use that against you lot.
If we won the game in hand and they lose, that's a 12-point difference with 15 games to go, which basically means that I have to lose 4 times, which is 4 times more than I've already lost in the next 15 games. I have to lose 33% of my next 15 when I've only lost 1. But even if I drew, what does that buy me? What does that buy me? Like 3 or 4 draws? Because that would be 8 points that you're making up. So actually I can draw 5 times and you can win, and I still win the title. So you know what? Now that I'm actually thinking about it, I actually think it is better for City to win, because that buys us more draws. That means I can draw away at the Etihad, and I can draw. I mean, I'm not really worried about Chelsea anymore, but potentially maybe Villa. But again, also I'm not even sure I'm worried about Villa anymore. They just got spanked by Wolves.
Wolves, yeah. This is my calculation. I think this game ends Arsenal's title chance or City. I mean, City at this point, they are mathematically far-fetched, right? It's not impossible.
Points. 15 points with the game in hand. So if they lost and we won, it would be 18 points. 18 That's points, not happening.
So if City loses, then we know the nail isn't on the coffin. It's a wrap. It's done. If Arsenal loses, mentality-wise, like Andy's saying, they're done. Yeah, they will be done. There's no way. They will focus on trying to win something, right? So either they're going to go hard on FA Cup or Champions League, or even try to beat Newcastle away. Right now, Newcastle is not doing well either. The best result is a draw, but I agree with you guys. City winning is much better. That shuts down Arsenal's
25-hour emergency streams on every.
I'm going to AFTV. AFTV me and bought something. I don't even drink beer. I will buy a beer and just go to AFTV.
Actually, yeah. No, I now that I just did the math, I don't even think that mathematically a draw is the better game, because if Arsenal lose, and we win against Everton, that's 12 points. That means that we would have to draw 6 times and they would have to win 6 times in order to even equal us. Do we really think that we're going to draw 33% of our games? No. I don't think so. Do we even think that we're going to lose 2 more games this season? I don't think so. We could easily end with 1 more loss. Maybe we get like a bogey loss to.
We can be smart. We can as a team be clever now. We can go into games going, do you know what? Even if we were to draw here, I'd rather the draw than the loss, because I know that's an extra game they don't have, the extra game we've used up. And I think that then we can be clever. That's why I need Man City to win, because It gives us that game in hand. That goes to 12. We beat Everton. Fingers crossed we beat them. And then we got
They're
12
playing
points.
good.
Then you can then be clever now.
Mhm.
You can then go, right, I've got City left. I've got Arsenal left. I've got Chelsea left. Do we still have Spurs again? I think at home.
Yeah, we have Spurs
Spurs at
at
home.
home.
But
So-
I mean, really, are we really afraid of Spurs?
No, but you know what I mean, bro. So you,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
look at them and you go, right, those are like the games where everyone kind of expects us to lose against, right? Like, you know, if on a good day, Arsenal beat us, Man City beats us, Chelsea beats us, whatever. Those are
Yeah.
the kind of games you go, right. Those are the 4 that they're expecting us to slip up. Those are the 4 games we technically have in hand. As long as we go and do the job with the other teams that we should be beating, we go and do those jobs. You've got these teams now, and you can just pick them off. We go to the air, get a draw. You go, all right, that's that now done. And we wiped that off.
Yeah.
Arsenal has to come to Anfield, dust them off. But the
Yeah.
Arsenal Chelsea game are right at the end of the season. So we could potentially, I think they're the last 4 games we have.
Chelsea, Arsenal, and Spurs.
And then Leicester, I think, is in,
Yeah.
is
So
in between them.
that's what I'm saying. So we need to make sure that from this point on, we just go and try and be as precise as possible, because I know they're going to drop more points, the other teams as well. And then when we get to those games, it will be like Liverpool only needs like a point now and we'll win the league, or Liverpool might just need, I don't know, even if they just not even draw, but even if they lose, you know, we're guaranteed to win the next one or whatever it may be. And that's what I want us to be in. I don't want us to be in a situation where Arsenal beats City, then he's back to 6, then we're gambling on the game against you know, Everton. Then we lose that, then they win. Then do you know what I mean? I want it to be a clear 9 points. Then I know I've got 3 games. Then I know I've got 3 games. Then I know, do you know what? Even in our next 3 games and we mess up badly in those 3 games, I know at least we're still there. Instead of going, right, we lose the next 3, then Arsenal's above us.
But
do you know what I mean?
If Arsenal lose, I mean, I think that the game in hand against Everton is like the most important game. It's the most important game of the season because we lost. I mean, you can say that we lost the league at Everton last year. If Arsenal lose or drop points and we're able to get over that mental hurdle and basically say no one cares about last season, this is this season, we slap up Everton at Goodison Park, we win. I don't even think it would matter what the point differential would be at that point. I think that the momentum alone from getting over that hurdle, you've already played your biggest rivalry games. Everton has to come to you. Wrap it up. And then having the added insurance of the potential 2 to 3 points, either 11 or 12, that would just further validate that. And then, of course, you know, Arsenal love to crumble. I mean, they don't like the funny thing about them is that in all of these title races, they weren't the chasee. They were not the chaser. They were the chasee, right? Like, they were the one who had the lead and they were the one who slipped up. Now, you know, the shoe's on the other foot. Are they built for that? I don't know. A lot of questions to be asked here. And Arsenal fans, the furthest thing from confident, I think, in the history of sports.
This is what I would say, though. For Liverpool, we are in such a great place. That's why today's match was so important. We have, 9 home games left?
Oh, then we have to win those, bro.
Exactly.
9 home, 6 away.
So if we win all the 9 games away, we are basically...
We have 9 home games left and 6 away games left.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, 15 games total.
I know away games, we're better away than we are at home.
So all we have to do is win, just win, especially this month. Win all your games this month and you clear, right? One thing that, you know, Pops and I were making jokes. Liverpool, right now, we have taken care of the bogey teams. Except Brighton, and Brighton is not as strong as they used to be anymore.
Have you watched the game today, bro?
What's that?
Game today. That game today, yeah, man.
And they got 7?
They held a 7, but it was such a sweet 7. I'm watching the game, man. I'm even going, I want more. I'm hearing the Forest fans say we won 8. I'm like, yeah, I want 8 as well.
This is the thing, though. But this is where that part that you said, now we have to be smart about. That's exactly what we saw today. We have to be smart about what we do from now on, because we are the place where, guess what? City has to go play Forest, Bournemouth, and Brighton. Arsenal has to do the same thing, right? So, and don't forget, you got a team like, what's his name? Villa, Bournemouth, Forest, who are also fighting for a possibility of a 5th spot opening in the Champions League. So it's not going to be as easy as people think it is, right? So we are in the right place right now where all we have to do is focus on ourselves. Don't do what Arsenal does. Arsenal's whole title race has always been beat City and then you win. Beat City and you win. They beat City and they do what? They lose to Aston Villa and then it was done, right? Liverpool, we know how to win this. We focus on ourselves. There's only been 2 teams who have gone 15 games straight, and that's Liverpool and City, which we can right now. So we said 6, right? Win all your 6. Let's just say win all your 6. And then the away games, don't lose. And then it's a wrap.
Well, we got 15 games left. Realistically, I think we can win 10 out of those 15.
And it's a wrap. As soon as you win 10.
I don't even. I think you're underselling.
Yeah, I think you're underselling it.
No, but I'm trying to go worst case scenario here. I'm going worst case scenario. I'm sure we can win 10
So
games.
you say we're gonna win all the home games and then beat Leicester?
I think we would draw a game at home, but I think we win all the away games.
And then we have to play Southampton.
Yeah, I think we win all the away games. Liverpool's so equipped to play away from home because the impetus is on the home team to come out and attack, and we just go, we'll just keep the ball then.
And if that happens, we win. The season is over.
That's what happened when we're at home. That's when we're sometimes a bit like 6 days ago.
Like
because we come out and then you know what I mean. But when we're away, you notice the way we play away from home, bro. We try and dominate the ball, but we allow the team to go and express themselves. And then as soon as we just pick them off. We just pick them apart.
I agree. At this point, I'm going to say just no rear view mirror. Don't look at who's doing behind you. Just focus. Sprint. This is a sprint now. Don't look who's coming or who's not coming or whatever. Just win the game in front of you one at a time.
I just looked at who we have to play for the rest of the season, and I think it would be fair to say I don't think that we're going to lose more than 1 game. I don't think that we're going to draw more than 4 games, which means that at the minimum, I think we win 10 games, which would be another 34 points. That would be another 34 points.
And I think that is enough to win the title.
Yeah, but I also feel like that's being conservative, right? Because if we beat Everton away, I think that changes everything. I think if you beat Everton away, all of a sudden, that Man City game looks totally different. And then you win that Man City game. You win that Man City game away. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about Newcastle at home. I'm not worried about Fulham away. I'm not worried about Chelsea away. I mean, hopefully, ideally, I would like to have this wrapped up by the 26th. Like, if we could, I would rather have all of these wins be back to back to back to back to back, and then just put the foot on, end this title earlier. That way we can make all these other clubs give us guards of honor, because that means that all these other clubs need to clap us up, get clapped up at Stamford Bridge, get clapped up for Arsenal. I mean, dude, could you imagine Arsenal come to us on May 10th and Mikel Arteta has to stand there and he has to clap Arne Slot coming on the field. Exactly.
Let's break it down in 5 then, guys, man. So big up to everyone in the chat. There's over 120, 30 of you guys in there.
Please hit the like button.
Let's just break it down in 5s then. Let's forget about the League Cup game. Let's forget about the FA Cup game. Forget the Champions League is the Champions League. Let's break down our next 5 Premier League games, and then we'll reassess. I'll try and get you both on, and we'll have this conversation again after our next 5 Premier League games, and then we assess it again and see where we're at. Maybe we come back and we've got 5 wins out of 5, and we're like, okay, that's 5 down. We got 5 more now, lads. Then we have to, you know what I mean? Then we can go again. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break it down into 5s, and then we'll go from there. But Man City for me is winning tomorrow, and I'd love it to be just a controversial, like something that happens.
99th minute penalty. When there's 5 minutes of added time, it goes into the 99th minute.
That'll be mad. They will lose their minds, and I think that would rattle their players, rattle the manager, rattle the fan base. It would literally have them just.
There'll be a wrap.
Yeah. Well, listen, Mike, big up to you, Mike. Big up to Quasi as well. Chat, love as well, man. There's 130 of you guys. Guys, do me a favor, right? You guys are going to be redirected over to Savage channel. He's doing WrestleMania. And I know there's a lot of wrestling fans in here because, you know what I mean? We all grew up on wrestling at some point. I need you guys to head over there, just hit Ends Raid and go and support. Just go and drop a like in there, man, and go and show him some support, bro. He's doing the WrestleMania thing now. So please, 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 guys. And as Salah said, man, let's be humble, man. Let's just be humble. And big up to Sobo, bro. He's a cheeky guy. Imagine drawing someone over to come and do a photo with you.
By the way, I need to say this before we get out of here. My boy Allison. I know some of you guys wanted to bench him and sell him and keep Kelleher and that kind of stuff. That's that own goal that almost the last few minutes that I think it hit Bradley's back heel and the ball almost, and he had to save it. He made a very important save. The thing with Allison is, I promise you, was it Clever who has that open chance and he missed?
Clever.
Yeah. There was two things he was thinking about. Virgil coming from somewhere. He saw Konate already, so he knew where Konate was. But he was like, where is Virgil? And number two, he's like, Allison. If Allison gets back on the line, this ball is not going in. So he rushed it was supposed to be a tap in and he rushed it. The thing that Allison do to players is he makes everybody feels like you have to have a super goal before you can beat me. Hence the reason why every time they get a ball, they start to shake. And for Allison, to him, it's like, oh, that's easy. You were not even focused. So today, big up to Allison. By crook or crook, he said, I need my clean sheet today. And he got his clean sheet because that Ipswich game, I don't know who decided to put Elliott on that Goliath. That person we need to have a conversation about whoever put Elliott on that defender, that we lose that opportunity to have a clean sheet. But today, big up to Ali. Everybody saying, oh, he needs to be sit down, Kelleher, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, my man, he just needed more games. And I think he's back to his best. And guess what? My captain, as soon as the match was over, guess who he goes and always go with? His twin, Allison.
Well, listen, guys, as I said, man, love for the love. Quasi big up to Mike as well, man. Chat, love as always, man. Guys, please, you're going to be redirected. Just head over there and just hit Ends Raid. Go and drop a like on the video. And then I'm back, I want to say tomorrow, but let's see what happens. We'll be back, though. We'll be back. And if you haven't already, guys, the link that's there is for the Big Up team. If you want to come over there and join it, please do.